What's up, YouTube people? This is I, Grateful Recovering Addict, bringing to you a segment of Hypodermically Speaking, Confessions of a Spoon Cooker, Part in Our Recovery. So, in my lifetime, I never thought or expect to become, an addict. It was all fun and games. At the end of 8th grade, you're smoking cigarettes with your friends. You go to the park, play ball, you smoke some cigarettes, you get some 40 ounces. You're going to high school, you smoke weed. Every now and then maybe pop a few pills. Like I never knew about any of this stuff until I went to high school, about the Percocets, the Vicodins, the Xanax, all that stuff. But that began to progress. It would just be like a weekend thing. Then in school, then every day, right? It would affect a lot of things. It would affect home life, affect my grades, my brain. By the time I graduated high school, I was going to college in New York, and I was doing everything, every day. It was an everyday thing. Going to school on the New Jersey Transit to New York and back. I was doing everything, anything I could get my hands on, right? I would fall asleep on the train. Even when I was still in high school, I would be taking the train from the Bronx. And I'd wake up in Coney Island. I lived in Queens. It's all the way by the water. I wasn't by the water where I lived. I had to take the train back. I'd be coming home late. But, so, fast forward, I'm in college. I had to withdraw because I missed too many days. I lost my scholarship. So I was out of school, still living at home with my parents. They they would do it. I don't know if they knew how much they knew, but they let me stay because I guess I was flying under the radar, but I wasn't really doing anything. I got a job doing some landscaping, construction. I was making cash just to, buy stuff, because at that point I wasn't really selling anymore. Became my own best customer. I would get money from the kids in the area, take the train to New York, pick up stuff, and sometimes I'd come back with the stuff for them. Sometimes I wouldn't, so I had made a lot of, enemies, people looking to get me later. But all these actions culminated to a point where, it was 2 DUIs, should have been 3 DUIs, numerous arrests for different things, possessions, whatever. Came a point where 2019, where I had a lot of things happen that year, where I had my girlfriend die. She overdosed. I wasn't there for it. She saved my life a month ago. She called 911 and they came and woke me up. And when she passed away, I wasn't there. I didn't hear about it until while I was in court. I was talking to the public defender, and my phone rang, and I picked up the phone. They told me she was dead. So, I didn't care about the court, but I had to go back to court for my other DUI. So I was going, 2019, I had to deal with the DUI. If anybody knows about the DUIs in New Jersey, they make you go first DUI to RDIC. I think it's a 12-hour class. They break up into 2 6-hour days. And then the second DUI you get charged with, you get 48-hour up in Patterson, right? I think it's called a Turning Stone. And you have to stay inside there. So you go in, you got to pack a toothbrush, you stay there, and they do videos, they feed you, whatever. But you're bunk beds and stuff. So you're in there for a little bit. And I was sick, right? I was sick. One guy in there, he had his Suboxone prescription, and that helped me get through. But as soon as I got out, I went back to Newark, right? So I'm doing all this, and I told the courts, they told me to go see a psychiatrist, clinical specialist, whatever, to help you, because they know it was a substance abuse problem. I have a long back and forth with this. And I told the guy, listen, I'm not trying to get clean. I'm not doing any of this. I'm just gonna keep going until I'm dead, right? So I can't help you. I'm not gonna sign off on you. So when I went in front of the judge, they said you have to go get help. Otherwise, we're gonna go the other way. So I remember it was October, the first week of October. I'm going back down to Newark. I'm with my crackhead friend. We get pulled over after we just got some stuff off Freeland Heisen, and it's by the McDonald's, by where that that bridge, train bridge that goes. You go underneath. I think it's like Chancellor or Haynes, one of them. And we get pulled over. We got the shit in the car. It's hidden though. He pulls the crackhead out the car and throws him in the back of the cop car. And I'm thinking like, great, this is perfect. I'm gonna end up, going to the precinct today, to the jail. It's all I need right now. I was just trying to get well. And gets me out of the car. He looks at me. He's like, "What are you doing down here?" I look him in the eye and say, "You know what I'm doing down here." He's like, "You got a problem?" Like, "I think you know I have a problem." How old are you? I was like 29, 30. So he's like, "Oh, I'm your age." He looked at me up and down and goes like, Go get yourself straightened out." He let me go. He didn't find nothing, but he let me go. I get back in the car. He let my buddy out. We get in the car and off we go. So I did my shit later that night. I'm thinking about like, I don't need this trouble no more in my life. After everything going on, I don't need this no more. So my mom called the rehab people, and she spoke with them saying, my son is a problem, needs help. Can you help him? She told me, it's like, if you called this lady Christine or Kristen, and they said they got a bed for you, and you say you're gonna go, I'll drive you. So I went. So my mom drove me the next day, right? We stopped at Wendy's, got some cigarettes, and then I went in there. I went in detox. I went into rehab. I've been a few times, like different detox rehabs. I've been to one in like Newbridge, Bergen County, and then like Bellmead Carrier Clinic, and then like few random ones. Never took that serious. But I went to this place, New Hope, right? It was a good place because I stayed the whole time. I didn't check out AMA, right? I finished the detox, got through it, sucked. Spent the first 2-3 days just in the bed with all my clothes on top of me because I was freezing, because the withdrawals. Moving to the rehab part. And I talked to the counselor. She recommended I go to a halfway house. I'm like, what am I supposed to do in a halfway house? She's like, get your shit together. So she got me to a halfway house in Long Branch, New Jersey, the Phillips house. I went there. I was there for like 8 months. But while I was there, you meet people. The house holds 20 people. Everybody come from different backgrounds. Either you're on federal probation, state parole, drug court, DUI funding, or just you got good insurance, or you just get charity care, right? So everybody's coming from different backgrounds, and there's all of us in this house. It's like it's not a rotating door because there was people in there that were serious about it, and there's people there that had no choice. They had to stick it out, otherwise they're gonna go back, right? But there are those people that I saw there that didn't take it serious. Maybe this was like their first time around. Maybe parents take them back home, whatever. I didn't have any of those options. If I left that place, I have nowhere to go. I would have been back to Newark, and I would have been dead. So I did what I had to do. I followed the rules, did my chores, curfew, drug tests, got a job. It was the beginning of getting everything back in life, getting back on track. It was a good experience. I met a lot of cool people, learned a lot of cool things. As for like crazy stuff, there were crazy things. We had like ambulance couple times, couple fights, rowdy people, but nothing too crazy. Staff was good. Staff took care of what they had to take care of. We were fed. There's a few small things, but it's not worth mentioning because overall they did a good job. My time was coming to an end. They were gonna have to release me, right? They're gonna be, you completed, right? I had to comply with my PO. She was checking in with me. She was getting documents sent from them saying I'm still there. I haven't left. I'm following what I'm supposed to do from the court. So once I finished that, I was off. I didn't have to see my probation officer no more. But my counselor at that place asked me, what's your plan when you leave, when you're discharged, right? I didn't have a plan. I didn't have nowhere to go. So I said, listen, I want to continue with this recovery I've been doing, right? I want to stay clean and sober. They recommended a sober house. So he gave me a list of sober houses. I called the houses, talked to the person in charge who owned it, whatever, and I landed on one house. I'm not going to mention names. I'm still there, but ended up going to this place, and it's a good house. It's always been a good house. Same thing like with the halfway house. You can have people that are solid core guys that are about it, and then you're going to have those other guys that like come in and out for whatever reason. It just is what it is, just the way it's gonna be. There's levels to this, right? So like, you're down and out, you end up detox rehab, you have to go through all these steps, start getting brain cells back, you start getting like, back into society, right? And all this time, right, I was through this whole program, I was getting clean, sober, going to meetings. I got two sponsors. I didn't do any step work yet, but I did read some of the book. I got employed. I had a job at the halfway house construction. It's good money. I was able to save up. I moved out of the halfway house like $4,000 into the sober house. I was able to pay rent. Plus the whole pandemic thing was happening at the time, so I was able. Cause I got not fired, but I had laid off from work, so I was able to get the pandemic thing. That helped out a lot because I was able to enjoy that summer down the beach, that area, and take my time to think what I need to do next. What's my next move, right? And I got my sponsor, the job I'm at now, in the railroad, but he didn't last because he ended up relapsing. So I don't know what he's doing now, but I hope he's all right, right? He looked out for me too the whole time I was there in the halfway house. But I'm here. I got to keep going, right? I've seen a lot of people, walking, in your life in this journey of recovery, and they're not here. Some people still here. Shout out to Boxcar Bob. He's been with me through the whole thing from the moment I met him in the streets of Newark to even now. He's in my house. Recovery is a good thing to have for people. It gives you that hope, especially when you feel like you can't. Life is horrible. Life is no good. But like, if you really want it, you have the willpower, and you need a strong support system too. And you just got to give yourself the time. They say give yourself a year. If you're not satisfied, they refund your misery, double your misery back. I don't want to refund my misery. I like the way life is now. I'm gainfully employed. Work is looking out for me. I got family, good support network, and I've been able to just keep leveling up. I've been working, paying off my debts, paying everything I owed for. Basically, I spent in my nose, in my arm, wherever, right? All the stuff I wasted on. Plan is too, like, eventually move out of the sober house, get my own spot. Just go live life. Don't make these mistakes again. Yeah.